It was awful. It was one of those, am I having a heart attack? I think we're gonna have to call the ambulance because it was so scary. It was so strong. Welcome to week 32 of pregnancy. Hi everyone, it's Heydi. Welcome to Home with Heydi. Here I share life stories and lessons to encourage you to serve your home and your family well. Yes, I am 32 weeks pregnant. I'm at the end of my 32 weeks, and it's a great time to share symptoms and how I manage them. So I use an app called Baby Center, and it lists some symptoms for mom and symptoms for baby. So I'm going to have my notes here, and I'm going to go through the symptoms that it has for mom and how I've managed them. And stay tuned for the end of the video because I'm going to be sharing some home birth updates and midwife updates too. So that'll be fun. Symptom number one that the app said was, as the uterus is growing, there's less space in the stomach area and all of that. It's crowding the stomach, so we're going to have more shortness of breath and or heartburn. So for me, the heartburn kicked in at night and it was awful. It was one of those, am I having a heart attack? I think we're gonna have to call the ambulance because it was so scary. It was so strong. I don't know what I ate to trigger it, but it was scary. I had extra pillows in our closet, so I pulled those pillows out and I was basically sleeping or trying to rest like this. That wasn't working. I had to stand up. It was very scary. I had my husband go downstairs and get me some milk. I was like Googling, like, how can I get better? I drank some milk. I was like, man, I wish I had some Tums. I did have some medicine for heartburn that I used to take years ago. So I took that. I was desperate. I was desperate for relief. If you've experienced heartburn, I've had heartburn throughout my pregnancies, but this was the first. In this pregnancy, I hadn't had heartburn at all. And I was just like, wow, a pregnancy with no heartburn. This is awesome. And then boom, it hit. It was so bad. And I felt like I needed to throw up and like it was coming. Sure enough, I threw up a lot. Sorry, that's TMI, but it actually helped me feel better. So after I threw up, I was able to just feel better. My stomach felt more settled, and I was able to then lay back in bed, propped up, and sleep somehow the rest of the night. And ever since that night, my heartburn has come back very painful almost every day. So to manage it, I've really tried to track the sugar that I eat or limit the sugar. I've really tried to limit the sugar that I eat. And I was a little bit emotional yesterday and had some chocolate covered almonds, and boy, I felt it a couple hours later. So that's how I've been managing my heartburn, is the sugar. Just trying to track what I eat, not eat very heavy late at night, just cut off my eating into the evening. The number 2 symptom that it gave is lower back pain. It said that it could be a sign of preterm labor, and to obviously speak to your medical provider if you keep feeling lower back pain. I have felt some back pain, but that's been because I've needed to drink more water. So the way I manage my lower back pain that is very mild is I just drink 2 big glasses of water and take some time to kind of sit and rest, and the back pain tends to go away. The third symptom for mom that it gave was baby movement. And obviously the baby's getting bigger and there's gonna be not as much room for baby to be floating around, but the baby should still be very active, so we should still feel the baby moving just as much. And so again, I believe I shared that last week, where I take some time during the day to sit, drink water, maybe eat something sweet. If I'm really concerned, if I don't feel the baby moving too much. I have noticed that I've had a little bit more tightening Braxton Hicks, and I've been so busy doing a lot of things that I don't feel the baby. But then once I slow down, I feel the baby. So it's really just, sometimes when you're so busy, your tummy is tight, your uterus is tight, you might not feel the baby at that moment, or you're just not thinking, but the baby is moving. So if you just take your time and breathe and drink water and sit down, that's how I've been able to reassure myself that everything's fine. I can feel the baby moving. I do the 10 movements per hour. Usually I get 10 movements within 10 minutes or less. The one symptom it gave for baby for week 32 is that the baby is packing on the baby weight, and that we moms should be gaining about 1 pound per week, and half of that goes to the baby. That's what the app said. So, and I know babies gain the most weight to plump up at the end of pregnancy. So again, watching what I eat, trying to be cautious and eat smaller, obviously because of the heartburn, but also thinking about delivering that baby. So those are all of the symptoms and how I manage them that I get from my app. I'm down to seeing my midwife every other week, and so I just went to see her this week, and I wanted to share some midwife updates and also home birth updates. So the first one was the baby's head down, everything looks great, and the baby is on the left side, and my midwife really likes when the baby's on the left side. I should ask what exactly is it easier for labor? But she said baby still can move around, but it's best if the baby is on the left side for delivery. And what I try to do, and she's told me in other pregnancies, and I continue to do it, is I sleep on my left side. And I believe that the left side is where your intestines are, so it could be just the natural push that moms get the urge to do during labor. Since your intestines are on the left side and the baby's on the left side, maybe it makes it easier. But that's what I try to do. I try to sleep on my left side, even though it's not the most comfortable. Sometimes I prefer my right, and I do sometimes, but for the most part, I sleep on my left side. Now for some home birth updates. I'm really excited because she gave me the list of preparations for the home birth. So if you are familiar with home birth, there's lots of supplies that are needed. Sometimes the midwives bring the supplies, but most of the time, these are things that the mom and dad collect at home and the mom has ready. So I have a birth bin, and I add all of my home birth supplies in it. And I have my paper now, and I'm going to be loading it up. I'll make a video on the supplies once I have it all gathered. It's one of the most exciting parts of the home birth, getting that birth kit ready. And it just means I'm just another step closer to having this baby, which I'm very excited for. My midwife also gave me a contact for a in-home pediatrician, and we actually used an in-home pediatrician for our toddler who is 18 months. And so, and that was right at the beginning of the craziness that's going on. And so it was just amazing. For the first, I believe, month and a half, I didn't have to leave the house. I was able to have the pediatrician come to me. She did all of the newborn checkups, And basically I just sat in my bed and she came. It was wonderful. So we're signing up for that again. That is an extra cost. It's not covered by insurance, but it is so worth it. If you have that option, you should definitely do it. And then everything gets transferred from the in-home pediatrician to our pediatric office. And it's just been a very smooth process. And the last thing I need to do is register with the hospital that my midwife works alongside with. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you next week for week 33.